Will Manchester United be able to keep up their great run of form? And they travel to Aston Villa to take on them in this game. And I'm not too sure about it. Manchester United's form away from home is a little iffy, but I'm excited about the game. If you're watching after, check the goals in the link below. But otherwise, stick around to see if I got my predictions right. Let's talk some tactics. So let's take a quick look at how both teams line up head-to-head and how they've been performing this season. So as we know, Manchester United have been banging in goals. 29 goals compared to Aston Villa's 10. And there's a reason why Aston Villa are sitting mid-table, because they're a very mid-table, mediocre team at the moment. The average goals per game, Manchester United 1.81 to Aston Villa's 0.62. This is an interesting stat, though. You have to go down. Both of them are not too far apart in the average time of first goal scored. But look at the amount of goals that Manchester United have scored inside the box. And a lot of these recently are coming from Robin van Persie, who seems to have his head back screwed on and getting the goals in the back of the net. So, but you can tell that Manchester United play the old trick. If you don't shoot, you don't score, because they have 158 shots. So as much as there is a hefty amount of criticism about Manchester United this season and the way they've been defending, I think they're starting to get their act together. I felt that Van Gaal would take a little bit to get his formation right, but if you see the last formation they had against Liverpool, they went in with a 3-5-2, and it's this thing of playing Michael Carrick in centre-back. If you told Michael Carrick 2 years ago that he was going to be a centre-back for Manchester United, he probably would have fainted, because he is an out-and-out defensive midfielder, but to slot him back in there, he definitely knows what he has to do as a centre defender. He's not got the pace, but he structures them well. I do worry coming up against a guy like Agbon Lahore, who's got so much pace, could test Manchester United. I know against Liverpool, you've got Raheem Sterling and David De Gea kept them at bay. Could have been a completely different game if Sterling put one of his chances away. But this is what I want to talk about. It's about playing Wayne Rooney in this role. So they went to play with Wilson up top and put Wayne Rooney in this sort of offensive midfielder position. And what you've seen against Liverpool is that when they started to attack down the right here with Valencia and Young would make the run across, Van Persie was very intelligent and made his run straight across goal. And where Wayne Rooney, like slowly but surely, just kind of tracked into this area. He slowly just wandered in, and it was Moutinho, who doesn't track his runners too well for Liverpool, but he couldn't react quick enough, because Wayne Rooney, he starts to wander this way, and then a quick dart, he'll make his run, and he's one of the best first-time finishers in the league. So that's something that Aston Villa are going to have to watch out with. And as well, Di Maria may be coming back, and you've still got Falcao, who's trying to gain his fitness. I want to see more of Falcao. I want to see what I always see when I seen him at Atletico Madrid. I have to admit, I didn't watch him too much in France with Monaco, but in Atletico Madrid, he was so ferocious in the box against big teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid. He would bang in goals, headers, and his heading ability is phenomenal for me. So the way Manchester United like to get the balls down the line with like Ashley Young, Van Persie's scoring a lot of goals at the moment in the box, in the air, and one-time finishes. I want to see what it'd be like if you were to get Falcao in there. But then that runs the risk of playing Juan Mata, or only playing Juan Mata for half of the game. But Juan Mata, as I touched on before the Liverpool game, his shot to goal accuracy is out of this world. He scored again against Liverpool, and I think that this guy is underrated a little bit amongst all these superstars of Di Maria, Rooney, Van Persie, when he's just as influential. So for me, I think they should stick to what they went with against Liverpool, but maybe if Falcao's good enough to get a start, he might edge it over Wilson, who I do think is a good player. He makes all. If Wilson was to play in here, the thing about Van Persie is Van Persie does not need to hold the high line, because Van Persie can then wander, because Wilson makes all these intelligent runs. He's got blistering pace into the corners and can stretch the Aston Villa defence. So Van Gaal's got a good decision to make, because he's starting to get some of his players back, and I think he's got somewhat more of a structured defence, but it'll still be a little lacking in pace. So we'll see what will happen. Let's check out how Aston Villa lined up in their last game. We do know that they suffered a loss to West Brom, so their formation, they go with a 4-3-3, and as you can see, I was a little put off there. I thought it was Man United, because that's Cleverley, who's with a Man United shirt still on, but he's in Aston Villa's team. I don't think Man United fans will be a little too worried about Tom Cleverley. I do not rate him that much as a player. Those front three are so powerful. Like Benteke, we know him. I'm sad we missed him in the World Cup as he got injured, because he would have been such a good player to watch for Belgium. But he's very strong up top. And you've got Agbon Lahore, who's got blister on pace. And even in the midfield of Richardson and Sanchez, they're still quick players. So what they have is they have pace in numbers. So Aaron Hutton, a guy I know from when he played with Rangers in the Scottish Premier League, and he went on to Tottenham. He's a very good and attacking fullback, and he scored in their game a couple of games ago against Leicester. So what he does is he manages to make these runs. He doesn't look like he's got that much pace, but he's got a great change of pace. And when you've got him attacking with this front three, it's going to take the ideas away from focusing on your Nzogbia, who's very good on the ball, and allow room for in behind for the likes of Benteke to make these runs and the pacey Agbonlahor to go in. But one final point about Aston Villa is Agbonlahor usually plays in the front row because Benteke was injured for so long, and he's good at holding that line, and he holds the ball up well. Not as good as Benteke, but what Agbonlahor is great at is a very similar movement to the striker, such as maybe someone like Costa, who can just float away and make that dart and run, because his speed over 10 yards is somewhat unmatched in the Premier League. I'd like to see it on a chart, but he's very quick. So if they can use Benteke to stretch Man United's back three, if they go 3 against 3 up there, it could be very interesting. I think Van Gaal might need to think about going with a 4-4-2, but we'll see what happens. Again, if you're watching after, was my predictions right? You don't know because I haven't said them yet. But Manchester United, I think, will edge this game 1-0 against Aston Villa. I fancy them to continue their winning streak. It will be interesting to see. Make sure to subscribe to TIT Sports for more tactics. Check me out on Twitter at Francis_Maxwell and at TIT Sports. Cheers.